What's up, everybody? Welcome to the video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about every single possible way that you can drive traffic to your print-on-demand store. Yes, every single way. This video will be a little bit longer because of what I'm going to be saying. And so if you have the time, or maybe if you don't have the time, go on the bottom of the screen, hit 2x in terms of the speed, or maybe 1.5x to watch this video at a faster speed, okay? Now, we're going to get into this video, and this video is going to apply to Redbubble, but it also can apply to any other print-on-demand site, whether it be your own website, Etsy, Zazzle, and Etsy is not really considered print-on-demand because you obviously can sell other things, but this is a method of selling. That's really the key. This is what I want everybody to understand, is that this is a method of selling, of traffic, okay? So if you need to build traffic to your stores, this is the video to watch. You guys hear me a lot say in my videos, third-party marketing, right? Where you don't rely on the algorithm that's built into that platform, whether it's the Redbubble algorithm, whether it's the Etsy algorithm, etc., the search engine, right? That's what this is. That's what this video is exposing today. So, once again, this could work for any method and every single thing listed. If it doesn't work for a certain method, I'll go ahead and tell you guys. But if I do mention it, that, hey, this works, assume that it works for everything, okay? Zazzle, Teepublic, Merch by Amazon, Cafe Press, and all the other platforms that you could think of logically, okay? This works for any and everything, and it also works for, like I said, your own website. So if you guys are new business owners and you're starting to build your own website, your first website for the very, very first time, this is a video you're going to want to watch, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and split the categories into two main categories, okay? We have our paid categories and we have our free categories, okay? And I want to just be clear, not always is the paid better than the free, and not always is the free better than the paid, okay? So we have to disassociate with everything that we've been taught in the past, everything that we currently believe, everything that we currently think about, and what we've been taught in the past, okay? The reason why I say this is because a lot of us come from different walks of life. Some of us might come from poor countries. Some of us come from rich countries. Some of us come from rich families. Some of us come from, well-off families or just average families, okay? What I want to say is that there's going to be approaches to business, and just because that you like a certain method doesn't mean that it will be beneficial to your business. And don't worry, we're going to go ahead and explain everything. By the way, do you like the handwriting, guys? It's because I got the pen and the pad here, so I'm explaining everything. I'm not using my mouse to talk here, okay? So let's go ahead and talk. So the first obvious one, okay, and we'll do this together, almost like a group a group share kind of thing, is we have social media, okay? Now this might seem obvious, right? We have social media. And if I ever write in abbreviations, just try to pay attention to the video, because if you're taking notes, then you'll be able to kind of understand the abbreviations, all right? So let's talk about what kind of social media we have. Now, once again, this is obvious, but we have Facebook, right? We have Instagram. We have Pinterest, okay? What else do we have? And these are abbreviations. We have Pinterest. What other social medias do we have? We have YouTube. Is that considered a social media? I don't know. It's really up to you to decide that, right? Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. Are there any other social medias? There are a few. There's one called Likee. I think it's called Likee, like this, Likee. There's a few more. There's Twitter, right? Twitter's a great one to actually promote your business through Twitter. And there's a few others, okay? I think even Donald Trump created his new one called, I think, Truth Social, something like that, okay? And there's a whole bunch of different places, okay, where you can promote it. Let's just talk about the main ones for now, okay? So with these free methods, there are also paid methods of social media, okay? So I'm going to just put a box here and say social paid, and I'll explain what those are. Now, I'm not going to write them down, and this is very important that you pay attention to the rest of this video, because I'll explain what they are, and I'll go through every single social media and explain what aspects are free, what aspects are paid, okay? So the first method that's going to be free is using Facebook. I'll explain what I mean. So Facebook, in the Facebook community, you can create a Facebook page. You can also create a Facebook group. So I'm going to write here FB group and FB page. Okay. The next thing you could do on Facebook is you can set up a chat bot. Okay. And there are ways to set this up, and I'll just give summaries to everything. Okay. A Facebook group is a place where a whole bunch of people like a certain topic. So, for example, if I'm a World of Warcraft nerd, I can go on Facebook and type in World of Warcraft and join some of these groups that people have created around World of Warcraft, because I love to play the video game, right? And I don't play the video game anymore, but I'm just giving you examples. If I love Game of Thrones, or if I love hunting, or if I love, whatever the case may be, any kind of these concepts, I can join a Facebook group, and there will be active members. That's the key here, active members, AM, right? There will be active members in this Facebook group. Now, I can create my own Facebook group, or I can join a Facebook group. Now, when you join a Facebook group or you create a Facebook group, what will happen is there will be a gradual increase in members, because these members join for the same reason you join, that they're all feeling passionate about a certain concept. Well, what happens is these members communicate and talk. And what you can do is you can form an agreement with the owner of the Facebook group, and you could say, hey, listen, you have this Facebook group. You're not making any money off of it. Okay, I want to join I can help us make money. Let's form an agreement. And you're gonna say, I can give you this, or I could pay you this in exchange for me to promote my products on your website. And your products can be any of the products listed here. It could be Etsy, it could be Redbubble, Zazzle, etc. Okay, we don't need to go out through the whole list, right? It doesn't matter. It could be even your own website, okay? And if the Facebook group owner is interested, then you have a shot, all right? Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to join these Facebook groups and just start posting your products, because you will get banned from those Facebook groups. It's nobody likes when people do that, and you get removed. The best thing you can do is contact the Facebook group owner and say that. So let's say I create shirts around motivation, inspiration. I go to find different Facebook groups, right? And I say, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to promote my products on your page. How much can we, what can we agree to here? Okay? And more often than not, if you approach it the right way, they're willing to do it. So the next thing is the Facebook page. So with the Facebook page, you're going to, once again, this could be either you own the Facebook page or somebody else owns it. You form agreements. In the case, if you're already under ownership, guys, you don't need to form an agreement. Okay? You just do it. But if you don't own it, you will need to form an agreement where the owner of the Facebook page, whether it be you or the actual owner, are going to create a Facebook page post around the product. Now, what I will say is that Facebook pages tend to get less engagement and less attention than Facebook groups do. And there's actually a reason why. Okay? Facebook groups are built off the backs of engagement, meaning if you want something to be seen by people on Facebook, then you go through a Facebook group. Facebook page, the reason why I'm saying this is because I own both of these. I know everything about them. And take that with a grain of salt, right? I don't know everything. I'm not Jesus here, but I'm just giving you an example. I know enough to speak on it because I've done it, and everything that I speak on here, I have done, okay? So with the Facebook page, Facebook pages are built for businesses. That's really what they're built for. And these businesses, Facebook knows that they have money. So what they do is under each post to the left side, there's a button that says boost. And what you could do is you can pay a fee to Facebook to have your post reach all of your followers on Facebook, right? And depending on how high that fee is, depending on how much money you can make, right? So that's with the Facebook page. Now, is it good to join a Facebook page? Let's say the Facebook page has 1 million followers, right? Normally, your post might reach maybe 10,000 people, if that. And we're talking about 1 million followers, if that. That's how much it might reach. In terms of engagement, you might have 100 likes or something on the post, okay? Now, is that enough to get a sale? Yes, it's enough to get a sale, but you have to be able to ascertain a value on that Facebook page post to see if you can make money. All right. Lastly, the chatbot. So what the chatbot is there is a way on the internet, depending on creating a landing page. Now, this might be foreign to some people, what landing page means, but you're going to create a website page that where people click a certain button and they get entered into a communication with a chat bot. And this chat bot can recommend products for sale. I won't go too deep into this because I know this is foreign for many of us, but the word chatbot, just search for ManyChat on the internet, okay? ManyChat, and you'll be able to find more information on this, okay? And we'll just leave it at that, okay? So that's Facebook. Now let's talk about Instagram, all right? And we're talking about all relatively free/paid ways. Remember, I mentioned when I say paid, when you pay the owner, that's technically paid. When you pay the owner of the Facebook group to make a post, that's paid. When you pay the owner of a Facebook page to make a post on that, that's paid. If you use a paid chatbot, that is paid. If you go with a free chatbot, that is free. If you make a free arrangement or you create the group yourself, that is free. So remember, there's a free/paid dichotomy here. Now let's talk about Instagram. Instagram is a wildly different type of community where Instagram, you have more power, okay? And I'll explain what I mean. With Instagram, it's much easier to grow an account. Much, much easier. And I've actually done tutorials on my YouTube channel how I've done this. There are many people who were clients of mine where we grow their accounts to 40,000, 50,000 followers in under a year. It's happened before. I've actually shared that information before. Now, what happens is Instagram is not the way it used to be. So the likelihood of you growing to 40,000 followers in a year is kind of unlikely now because it depends on your skill rate. Okay, and the reason why I say skill rate is because Instagram is constantly changing their algorithm. All right, as really the number one or the number two social media for a very long time, you have to always adapt to what's going on. And the reality is with social media algorithms, social media company knows that one thing works. And what is that? Instantaneous, right? Instantaneous dopamine rush. And so really what that means is that you guys know that feeling when you're always scrolling on Instagram. You're always scrolling, but you don't know why you're scrolling. Well, really what you're looking for is that next hit. Just like an addict, you're looking for that next hit of dopamine, something that's going to catch your attention, something that's going to put a smile on your face or elicit an emotion. Maybe it make you sad, maybe it make you cry, but you're looking for that next hit. This is why you don't see me on social media, because I don't engage in this kind of behavior, because I know that it is an incredible waste of time. But anyways, Instagram, they're built off the back of engagement. And there's one thing that we humans cannot essentially push away, and that's attention. We all love attention, okay? So the method that I use to grow the Instagram account, that you can call it a paid way, but it's not the typical paid way, is we piggyback off attention. And what is attention? Well, attention can come in different ways. It can come through a like, it can come through a comment, it can come through a follow, right? Well, we do all these things for other people in hopes that it happens to us. And what we use is we use an Instagram automation tool, all right? I'm going to write IG automation tool, AT, right? IGAT. And what that means is Instagram automation tool. And what these automation tools can do is that you can follow other people, like other people's content, comment on other people's content. You could do a whole lot with this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things you could do. And the results is what's really cool, because you can make money doing this. And I'll explain why, okay? Let's go ahead and zoom out for a second, just so I can... Actually, I'll do it right here in this empty space, okay? For the empty space here. With this empty space, what you got... All right, so let's say this is your profile, okay? I'm going to put Y here for your profile. And this is someone else's, so I'm going to write S here. Okay, and then we have another person's, which is J for Jack, right? Let's say Sam, Jack, and Charlie, okay? And here's your profile. What you're going to do is you're going to engage with every single person, okay? Whether you follow them, whether you comment, whether you like their post, whatever, it's irrelevant. But let's just say you engage with them some kind of way. Any tenets of attention here, okay? Well, what happens is these individuals will notice that you engaged with them. See, these are consumers. That's very important. These are consumers, and you are a producer, P. And so what's the difference between a consumer and a producer? Well, a consumer, what they actually do is these consumers is they take, right? So what they're doing is they're looking for content creators. They're looking for people like you to watch, okay? Whether it be a post, whether it be, a video, whatever it is, right? And you as a producer, what you're looking to do is you're looking to gain followers or gain attention, right? That very incredible resource that we all humans love. Well, attention increases the amount of income on Instagram. There are some platforms where that's not the case, but this is one of those platforms where it's very, very easy to make money on, which is Instagram, okay? It's actually the easiest. Out of all the other platforms there are, it's actually the easiest, okay? There's a psychological reason why this is, but we'll just continue here, okay? So, attention. Now, you're a producer. You're producing content, but what you did is you followed Charlie, Sam, and Jack, all because they have a like interest in the content that you're producing. Does that make sense? So, for example, let's say you produce content on woodworking, and you know that they love woodworking. How do you know? Because you see that they follow other people that do woodworking, right? So you engage with them somehow, whether you like, you comment, you follow, etc. Once you do that, okay, you're going to get attention back. Now, whether they just simply see your profile, whether they follow back, whether they comment back, whether, whatever they do, you're gaining attention back. And the smart marketer here, what they do is they always leave a product to be sold, okay? And what happens is the more people like Charlie, like Sam, like Jack that you engage with, the bigger chance you have of getting sales. And eventually, it gets to a point after a few days where you can realize your conversion rate, okay? Your conversion rate. And what your conversion rate is the percentage of customers out of visitors, okay? Percentage of customers over visitors. So what does that mean? Imagine if I get 100 people to visit my Instagram profile, and out of those 100, 5 people buy a product. That's a 5% conversion rate, okay? Now, what I will say is I'm not going to throw out any numbers right here in this video of what are good conversion rate numbers and things like that, but what I will say is that the easy way to figure out if you're good at this method or not is just to look at your conversion rate, okay? You will get followers on even the first day you do this. You will get comments. You will get likes the first day. So it's almost instant results. But a lot of people, I guess you could say, they get jaded and they think that the process is crazy easy. And so because they get results the very first day, they feel like they know what they're doing. And the best thing I could say is always look to improve. That's the best thing I could say, because that's what happened to me. I made a video not too long ago where I got a sale within 18 hours on Instagram on a brand new Redbubble store. And what I did was I thought that market was a good market to target, but I was wrong. I just got lucky. And what happens is a lot of us, we get lucky. And once we get lucky our first time, we step off the gas. And when we step off the gas, we're not doing the best for ourselves. So for the next 4 or 5 days, I didn't get a single sale. And then what I did was I hopped back on it, changed up my targeting, started focusing, pressing on the gas a little more, and then I got more results later down the road. In fact, in the next few days after that, got like 4 or 5 sales in one day. So what I'm trying to say here is there are variables that need to be matched. And we'll make videos on this in the future. There are variables need to be matched, like who you're targeting, why you're targeting them, things like that, okay? So now I'm going to erase the page. And once again, don't worry, guys. You can go ahead and watch this in the future, But we have a few others. We have Pinterest, right? We have Twitter. We have, and this is, once again, the free versus paid. So here's paid. Here's free, okay? You can go ahead and write a box around that. We have Pinterest. We have Twitter. We have a whole host of other things. Now, and I'm not going to go too long into this because we've already invested way too much time into this video. But Pinterest, Twitter, and all these other platforms, they have their own processes, okay? So something that I did was for the last maybe 4 months, I wouldn't even say 4 months, maybe 4 months. I would say, to be honest, guys, I would say roughly 110 days. So it's not fully 4 months, but roughly 110 days. I've been focusing on Pinterest. Okay. And the reason why I've been focusing on Pinterest is because I already took care of Twitter. I know what I'm doing on Twitter. I know what I'm doing on Instagram. And I've been focusing on Pinterest to make money through print on demand through Pinterest. And I found that it could be extremely profitable, like ridiculously profitable. And it's a little bit easier than Instagram and a little bit easier than Twitter, a little bit easier than all these methods. Now, what I will say is Instagram is much more profitable when you do pay money. So in terms of free, Pinterest is better in terms of free, but Instagram is a little bit better. Now, let's talk about paid social media. All these methods that I'm sharing were kind of either free or in between free and paid, because you're not paying directly to the conglomerate, to the company. Let's talk about paying the conglomerate. Let's talk about paying for ads, okay? Paying for ads is one of the worst things you can do. I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to break this down. When I say paying for ads, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Facebook ads. I'm talking about... Now, Facebook ads, there's a caveat, by the way. It's not all the time. I'm talking about Instagram ads. I'm talking about Pinterest ads. I'm talking about all of these different types of ads. Now, and it also depends what kind of platform you're using. So if you're using Merch by Amazon, it's different than if you're paying for doing Etsy. It's different than if you're doing for Redbubble, or if you have your own website. Now, if you have your own website, then you could do whatever method you want in terms of ads. That's a completely different situation. If you have your own website, you are in your own league, okay? Now, if you're not in your own league and you're creating designs on other people's platforms, aka Amazon, aka Redbubble, aka Zazzle, then what you should do is you should never be doing this. In fact, this is the worst thing you could do, and this is a telltale sign of somebody who's a beginner, okay? When I say beginner, I mean somebody who's probably hasn't made over $1,000 on print on demand. Okay, and the reason why I say this is because when you're doing Facebook ads, when you're doing Instagram ads and Pinterest ads, what you're doing is you're shooting yourself in the foot. These platforms are already highly priced, okay? Highly priced attention. Highly priced attention. When I say highly priced, remember, being highly priced is subjective to other prices of attention. We already shared Instagram bots, for example, okay? Instagram bots, which is underpriced attention, right? Why is it underpriced? Because you can pay a subscription of $9.99 for a whole entire month, right? And get access to a tool that can get you much more attention than a $10 ad could do through Facebook or through Instagram or whatever the case, right? So there's underpriced attention and there's highly priced attention. In the case of ads, paying the actual companies, right? Using the Facebook Audience Insights tool, using the Facebook Ads Manager, using Instagram ads, using Pinterest Ads Manager. All these different things, these are highly priced forms of attention. Now, there are some that are cheaper and more effective than others in 2022. However, all of these methods are not designed for platforms you do not own. Why? Because there's something called a tracking pixel. This tracking pixel is I guess you can say a code that allows you to understand but allows the machine that runs these ads to understand from an artificial intelligent level and a behavioral level who these customers are, okay? If you don't have the tracking pixel, you will not succeed. I'm just going to put it out there right here, right now. If you do not have a tracking pixel, you will not succeed with ads. In fact, I very, very rarely have seen anybody able to make money through ads without it, okay? But when you're advertising on platforms like Redbubble, on Zazzle, on all these different platforms, guys, you don't have the tracking pixel, okay? Now, I do know people who can hack their way into it. However, you're playing a dirty game when you do that because, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to continue that sentence. Now, when you don't, the tracking pixel, okay? When you don't have a tracking pixel, Facebook and Instagram and all these different platforms, what they're doing is they're just putting ads out there to random people. They have no regard for who the ad is going out there for. And intentionally, guys, Facebook, Instagram, they all know this, okay? And it's built into their algorithm where the more better results that they get, the less it costs you. The less it costs you, right? So, for example, if an ad is performing well, they have something called a relevancy score. It's out of 10, okay? It's in the ad platform. And the reason why I know this is because I spend money on ads, okay? Out of 10, okay, is a relevancy score. If it's not 7 or higher, your ads will intentionally cost more because they want to get rid of the ad. They don't want it on their platform anymore. And it will, essentially, you'll get less results for that ad. But if your ad, let's say, is a 10 out of 10 relevancy score, you're going to be paying fractions of what somebody else would have paid if their relevancy score was lower, okay? So that's that. Now, you don't want to pay for ads. Like I said, this is an amateur move. If you don't own the platform, like Redbubble, like Etsy, like Zazzle, Teepublic, etc. Like, for example, when I say Teepublic, let's just take a Teepublic shirt and promote it on Facebook ads. You don't want to do that. You don't own the pixel. You don't want to do that. Redbubble, same thing. You don't want to take a Redbubble design and put it on Facebook ads. Very amateur move, and I'll explain why. The first thing is you have to take into consideration your profit margin, okay? Your profit margin is very important. Why does this matter? It's because if you're going to sell a t-shirt, let's be realistic. How much money can you really make off of a Redbubble t-shirt? Is it $5? Is it $3? Is it $10 if you really, really charge a lot? Let's just say $8, okay? That's how much profit you're going to make. Well, you have to ask yourself, the shirt doesn't cost $10. The shirt might cost $28. It might cost $25. It might cost $30. Whatever the t-shirt cost is irrelevant. How likely is it that I can target random people with this $30 t-shirt? Now, when I say random, take that with a grain of salt. You're not truly targeting random people. You're targeting people with interests. But when I say random, you don't have a tracking pixel. So the algorithms, the advertising algorithms are not getting any feedback from the spend, from the ad spend. So for every dollar that I spend and for every CPA, cost per action, that I spend, the algorithm doesn't know if it was a positive feedback or a negative feedback. And if there's no negative feedback loop, it does not cut off that entity, remember, write the word entity down, that entity of interest. See, what happens is when you run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, all these different platform ads, they have entities of interest. So imagine if I was to target basketball. Okay, there are different entities of interest within basketball. There are people who are legitimate basketball players, right? There are people who are basketball consumers, so they like to watch the NBA, for example, or the WNBA, or whatever the case. Then you have another group who are, let's say, maybe they don't watch basketball on the TV. Maybe they don't play basketball, but they love to go to the games, right? So there's different levels to this. And the way that Facebook understands this is they group them and categorize them based on their previous organic and inorganic behavior. Crucially important to understand, okay? So once you wrap all this information up and understand this, is that 100 times out of 100, it is not smart to pay Facebook ads, Instagram ads, or any kind of ad method to these free platforms, okay? The Redbubble, the Zazzle, the Teepublic, because what happens is, guys, if you spend enough money through Facebook ads, eventually they're going to find the right entity of interest. It's just going to happen, right? Whether it be $1,000, $50,000, or $500, eventually it will happen, right? But you don't have control over that since you don't have the pixel, okay? So that's that. Now, with Pinterest, Twitter, all these things, there are free methods, and they have their own processes. It's going to get hard to get into now because the video is so long already. A half-hour, minute video. But let's just quickly go over the rest of the different methods, okay? So let's talk about blogging. Okay, let's talk about blogging. So when I hear blogging, there's a group of people that just automatically start to tune out because they don't like blogging. They know how hard it is. They don't want to get involved. But I'm telling you, this is where a ton of money or specifically passive income. Passive income can be made. In fact, the first sale I ever made was I sold a hoodie on my own white label brand, and it wasn't print on demand. It was a white label brand, meaning buying the products offshore, bringing them in, customizing them, then bringing them in with the actual manufacturer. The first product I ever sold was through SEO. Okay, so I want to be clear on that. Now, this generates the most passive income because once you do the certain steps and you put them into place and you actually start to get ranking and get attention on Google, this is what's going to give you the income later down the road. Now, let's talk about the free method and the paid method. Okay, so for blogging specifically, okay, blogging, there are free and paid. I'll explain what I'm talking about here. With the free, you have to set up your own blog. You have to create it from scratch, okay? You have to create it and you have to create content. That content is going to be articles. It's going to be you name it. It's going to be images. It's going to be products, right? All this counts as content. When Google looks at a website, they look at, okay, what is the content on that website? And what Google is trying to do, whether you have a blog, whether you have a product, whatever it is, what Google is trying to do is they're trying to give the best possible solution to their reader. Remember that, to their reader. And what you have to do is with every piece of content you produce, whether it be a product, whether it be an image, whether it be a blog, whether it be whatever it is, you need to upload the very best for the reader compared to the competition. And in a matter of months to weeks, you will be ranking on Google. And in a matter of solidified months, we're talking about 5, 6 to 10 months, you'll be ranked number 1 on Google. Now, take that with a grain of salt as well, because there are different categories within Google that are more competitive than others. So if I try to compete for the keyword bodybuilding, okay, well, there's a website called bodybuilding.com that really owns that niche, and they're doing so well with that. And when I say owns, they just have so much domain authority that there's no way I'll be able to beat them. And it's really too late for me in that aspect. So every keyword is its own niche, okay? And I'm just going to be as brief as possible here. The paid way to do blogging is to find out blogs that are already ranking on Google and form, once again, an agreement, a paid agreement. And what you're going to say is listen, I love your blog. I feel like my customers would do great. My products would do great with your customers. So what methods can we work out so that I can agree to have my products on your blog? And some blog owners will give you a great deal and some won't, okay? My personal opinion, the best way is free, okay? You're going to learn so much more through the free than through the paid, okay? Because this is the hard part. If everybody knew how to do this, they'd all be millionaires, okay? The reality is that people, it's not that they don't know, it's that they don't want to know. They don't want to go out there and do it because this takes months and months and months of hard work. Anybody that sits there and tells you it's easy, I'm sorry, has probably never done it from scratch. Maybe they've came into a company and maybe have done it before. Like, for example, you go to an agency right now and you ask SEO certain questions, they're going to say certain answers because of their position. Okay? When I say their position, you have to remind yourself that these SEOs that have been hired in agencies most likely have not started a website from scratch. They probably went to certain groups and certain programs, certain internships, where they are already invested in a company that already had started from a higher place, much higher than zero. Okay? They're probably starting from all the way up here, and their job is to get the company from here to here, right? Well, that's much easier to do than to go from zero to the first one, okay? So, a majority of these people have never known what it takes to take a website from zero. I'm talking straight up zero, from scratch to something. The majority of people do not know how to do that. In fact, that's just the reality, okay? Now, let's talk about some falsification, some fallacies that people believe in the SEO space and the blogging space. Now, there's these softwares that are artificial intelligent. They're called GPT-3, GPT-3, GPT-3 softwares that exist, okay? One of these softwares is Writer. I've made a video on Writer. One of these softwares is Word Hero. One of these softwares are Jarvis. So many of these softwares, okay? I made an experiment. I tested an experiment. This was behind the scenes. I didn't tell anybody about this. And I've tested all 3 GPT-3 softwares, the 3 main in the industry, okay? All of them will produce roughly similar results depending on what you put in, okay, into the input. Now, these softwares will spit out artificial intelligent content. However, you have to ask yourself one thing. Where does this content come from? It comes from Google. Well, guess what? You're literally taking Google's information that Google puts out to the world and spitting it back into Google if you put that content on your website. Google knows this, and Google is not going to rank you, okay? I know this is a news flash for some people, but the reality is that you have to include some of that content for relevancy factors into your articles. One of the biggest fallacies, okay, and this is a telltale sign, once again, of somebody who's a beginner in this world, is somebody who says that these softwares, the GPT-3 softwares, are the only things that can grow your blog. And that's completely false, and that's not true. You can ask anybody who's actually been there and done that. For example, Income School, ask them. The reason why they write blogs by hand is because Google is looking for content that is relevant but new. Relevant but new. They actually say this in their documentation. So you can read their documentation. Relevant but new. Right? And trust me, Google knows around all of this. You don't think a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar company doesn't know of these softwares that exist? Of course they do. But they have ways to mitigate spammy content. And what is spammy content? Well, you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So, for example, if I want to write an article on cinnamon and its health effects, okay, what is the GPT-3 software going to do? It's going to collect all the information that sits on Google, and it's going to re-spit them out. But that's not going to get you ranked anywhere. You might get impressions, but impressions, once again, mean absolutely nothing. If you want to get ranked on page 1, on the top of page 1, whatever, you're going to need, well, I actually lied about that. GPT-3 software can get you ranked if you're in a no competition zone, right? Because then you're the only piece of content. However, the article is not going to be any good, so that once there's actually competition, they're going to kill you. So what the idea is that you're going to, if you want to learn how to blog properly, I've created countless videos on this, but use GPT-3 software plus handwritten stuff. You don't want to do just GPT-3 software, okay? Let's just keep that going, all right? So now we went over roughly every social media, every paid social media, and we went over blogging, okay? Are there other ways to sell your products? Of course. You can go on forums. You can try to, coerce people into buying. You can get good at the actual platforms, right, and understand what it takes to title and tag. And by the way, guys, if you're interested in that and you want to have an opinions and guidance on that, if you need help through Redbubble tagging and titling, this is going to be the course for you, okay? And how do you know if you need help? Just simply go into your analytics and see, am I getting 1,000 visitors a day on my Redbubble store, okay? If you have 1,000 designs and you're not getting 1,000 visitors a day, meaning each design is not acquiring just one person to your website, that is a problem. Right? That is a big problem. That means you have an issue with tagging, you have an issue with titling, and you have an issue, more importantly, with acquiring attention. And that's what this course is for. It's all about acquiring attention through Google and through Redbubble. Okay? That's what this course is for. If you need help with creating your designs, right? Let's say you are great with titling and tagging, but for some reason, your design process is not working out. You're taking forever to create designs. You're spending hours and hours and hours on niche research. You don't know what's going to sell. You don't know how to create a design that actually sells. This is going to be the course for you. Now, I recommend that you watch the video before you join these courses, obviously, so you can get some information on the curriculum and things like that. But these 2 courses, if you need help with specifically Redbubble, Okay, this is not for, if you do Teepublic, do not join these courses. These courses are not for you. They're for specifically Redbubble. We'll tackle Teepublic in the future. We'll tackle all those things in the future. But for Redbubble specifically, we have nailed down the Redbubble strategy. Okay? And the way I teach is similar to the way I teach in this video, in the courses. I explain everything step by step, and I explain why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them, okay? So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I know this was a very, very long video, crucially long, but everything in this video, there was no time wasted. Absolutely no time wasted. Everything was very important in this video to learn how to master print on demand. Okay, from a traffic sense. This video was inspired by Marco. I think his name was Marco Simic. Shout out to you. He asked about, can I do videos with the blogging and the stores? And I said, absolutely, I will be doing that on the brand new YouTube channel. If you guys are familiar with the brand new YouTube channel, I'll just go ahead and show you guys right now. Type in DIY income tutorials. If you guys click on this, search on this on YouTube, this is the channel right here, the little unicorn. Okay, you click on this. This is the new channel. We're going to do behind the scenes content. And when I say behind the scenes, I'm not talking about behind the scenes of YouTube, behind the scenes of businesses. I'm going to be showing you how to set things up, how to do the Instagram, how to do the blogging, how to do the designing, how to do every single aspect to the business approach. So if you're interested in that, go to the DIY Income Tutorials channel, subscribe, watch some of the videos that already exist, and we will be adding more and more content, nice and slow. We're going to be taking our time, okay? So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everybody who's watching, but more importantly, I hope you really use the information given to you today in the videos. Guys, there's two groups of people, okay? You have the watchers and you have the actors. You have people who go out and act out what they learned. And then you just have people that just simply watch. You have to ask yourself, what do you want to be? Do you want to just watch, or do you want to act it out? Do you want to enable success into your life? If you want to behave in some some success enabling behavior, you got to go out there. You got to try. Everything that I learned today and that I have today is because of what I learned by going out there and trying. Okay? So I didn't read this stuff in a book, unfortunately. I wish I could have. I wish I could have just read a book and everything would have been given to me. I wish I could have just hired a mentor for 10 grand and said, teach me everything, but I can't. And that's unrealistic, right? Because that doesn't exist. So the reality is that I had to go out there and figure these things out. I didn't find these things in a forum. I didn't find these things in a free marketplace where everything was just given to me. That's not what happened. I had to go out there and do it. I had to do the work. So this is a little motivation for you guys, is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you watch. It's all about the work you put in. Okay, so go out there, do some work, get something going, and make a name for yourself. Make some income for yourself, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and I wish you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon, all right? Peace out, bye.